Om Sai Ram. Welcome to Shirdi Sai Baba's Satsang. Today let us understand one of the most important teachings in the path of Sri Shirdi Sai Baba. Surrender or Sharanagati at Baba's lotus feet. We often hear that surrendering to God brings divine blessings and leads us the soul towards liberation. In Sri Sai Satcharita, we come across this idea many times through the lives of Baba's devotees. But whenever I read or heard the word surrender, one question always arose in my heart. What exactly is true surrender? With this question in my heart, I reflected on Sri Sai Satcharita, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba stories, other authentic sources connected with Sai Baba, and our scriptures. By Baba's grace, I slowly received some clarity, and today I would like to share that understanding with you all. Baba has assured his devotees, I am ever living to help and guide all who come to me, who surrender to me, and who seek refuge in me. This one assurance itself shows how important surrender is in Baba's path. In worldly life, surrender is often seen as defeat, weakness, or helplessness. But in spiritual life, surrender is completely different. It is not weakness, it is inner strength. It is not escape, it is trust. It is not inactivity, it is action guided by faith. Sharanagati means taking refuge in the divine. It means placing our ego, pride, fear, anxiety, desires, sense of doership, and attachment to results at Baba's feet. Baba never taught laziness or irresponsibility. He never asked us to abandon our duties. True surrender means doing what is right, making sincere efforts, and offering the result to Baba without ego, fear, or restlessness. True surrender releases us from four major burdens: ego, anxiety, the illusion of control, and attachment to results. Much of our suffering comes because we want life to happen exactly according to our wishes, our timing, and our expectations. When things do not happen the way we want, we become restless, disappointed, angry, or afraid. But surrender teaches us to respond differently. It teaches us to do our best, accept Baba's will, and trust that his wisdom is greater than our understanding. In simple words, true surrender means saying from the heart, Baba, I will do my duty sincerely. I will follow the path of Dharma, but the result, the timing, and the final outcome belong to you. Please guide me, Baba, protect me, and lead me in the right direction. This is the essence of surrender. Further, Baba taught that a devotee who remembers him constantly, meditates on him with love, and keeps him in the heart will come closer to him. He also said that a devotee who worships him with complete love becomes one with him just as a river merges into the sea. This comparison is very meaningful. A river passes through stones, forests, heat, rain, and many difficult turns, but it continues its journey towards the ocean. When it finally reaches the sea, it loses its separate identity and becomes one with the vast ocean. In the same way, a devotee may pass through struggles, delays, doubts, and difficulties. But if the devotee continues moving towards Baba with faith, love, patience, and surrender, slowly the devotee's will becomes one with Baba's will. Now let us know other dimensions of complete surrender to the Guru. The first is devotion and remembrance. A surrendered devotee keeps Baba in the heart and remembers him through Namasmaran, prayer, meditation in daily life. Baba has assured, if you always say Sai Sai, I shall take you over the seven seas. This does not mean mere mechanical repetition. It means remembering Baba with love, faith, and feeling. The second is seeing the Guru in all beings. When we understand that Baba is all pervading, we slowly begin to see his presence in every person, every creature, and every situation. This makes us more compassionate, patient, and peaceful. The third is freedom for egoism. Baba is seated in our very heart. To surrender to Him, we must gradually give up the feeling, I am the doer. Our body, mind, abilities, opportunities, and even our breath are gifts from Baba. The fourth is service. True surrender is not only a feeling, it must reflect in action. If this body belongs to Baba, then it should be used in the service of Baba, devotees, humanity, and all living beings. The fifth is faith and obedience. During Baba's physical lifetime, devotees received direct instructions from him. Today, we receive Baba's guidance through his teachings, dharma, prayer, and the voice of conscience, purified by devotion. The sixth is channeling the senses towards the divine. Before the mind, senses, and intellect run after worldly pleasures, we should remember Baba. When ordinary actions are offered to him, daily life itself becomes spiritual practice. The seventh is desirelessness. Baba gradually frees his devotees from unnecessary desires. When trust deepens, restless wanting reduces, and the heart begins to desire only Baba's grace. The eighth is love. Baba does not ask for wealth, status, or grand worship. He asks for pure love. Where there is true yearning, devotion, and feeling, God reveals Himself. The ninth is mindfulness and inner peace. Regular remembrance of Baba, chanting His name, and meditating on His form make the mind calm. A peaceful mind is one sign that surrender is growing within us. Our scriptures also explain Sharanagati beautifully. Haribhakta Vilasa describes 6 aspects of true surrender. They are like this: Anukulasya sankalpaha, Pratikulasya varjanam, Rakshishyatiti vishwaso, Gotritve varanam tatha, Atma nikshepa karpanye, Shadvidha sharanagatihi. These 6 aspects show that surrender is not merely a word. It is a complete transformation of the heart. To surrender means to live in a way that pleases God. It means avoiding thoughts, actions, and habits that take us away from Him. It means trusting His protection, accepting His guidance, and offering everything at His lotus feet. Our body, mind, family, work, success, failure, joy, and sorrow. Most importantly, true surrender is humble, silent, pure, and free from display. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the 9 forms of devotion known as Navavidha Bhakti are described. The final form is Atma Nivedanam, complete self-offering. This is the highest form of devotion and the essence of Sharanagati. In Sri Sai Satcharita, we see Baba's teaching on Navavidha Bhakti through the 9 coins he gave to Lakshmi Bai Shinde just before his Mahasamadhi. These 9 coins reflected the 9 forms of devotion and also honored her loving service to Baba. We can see another great example of surrender of Lord Sri Hanumanji. His entire life was dedicated to Sri Rama. He had no personal desire. Every thought, word, and action was for Rama. His surrender was not passive. It was active, courageous, powerful, and full of devotion. This teaches us that surrender does not make a devotee weak. It makes the devotee fearless. In Sai Baba's path also, we see many examples of surrender through the lives of his ardent devotees. One such example is S.B. Dhumalji of Nasik. During a plague outbreak in Nasik, dead rats were found in his home. Naturally, anyone would have left frightened and left the place immediately. But Dhumalji did not act out of fear. Before leaving the house, he wrote to Baba in Shirdi seeking his permission. Until Baba's reply came, he stayed there with complete trust. Later, when Baba gave permission, he moved to another bungalow. On the very night he moved there, another dead rat was found. Again he wrote to Baba and asked what he should do. Baba's reply came, "Why should we give up our residence?" Dhumalji obeyed Baba's words and continued to stay there. Though neighbors and authorities criticized him, he remained firm in faith. But he was not careless. He took practical precautions, avoided infected water, and used water from the Godavari river. Even though the plague was taking many lives daily, no harm came to him. This incident teaches us that surrender is not foolishness. It is not ignoring danger. Surrender means acting wisely but not allowing fear to overrule Baba's guidance. Another moving example is Bhimaji Patilji of Narayangaon. In 1909, he came to Shirdi suffering from a serious chest disease and tuberculosis. He had lost hope of recovery. In that helpless state, he surrendered at Baba's feet and cried out in despair. Baba was moved by his tears. He blessed him and cured him through 2 dreams. Through those dreams, Baba made him experience the suffering necessary to remove the past karma connected with his disease. This shows that Baba comes to the rescue of devotees who surrender with sincerity. There is also an important lesson in the incident of Shama. Once Shama used a medicine that Baba had given earlier without consulting Baba again. He thought that because it had worked once, it would work again. But this time the condition worsened. Then Shama realized his mistake. The power was not in the medicine alone. The real power was in Baba's command, Baba's grace, and surrender to Baba's will. When Shama surrendered again, he was cured by Baba's grace. This teaches us not to act mechanically or with pride. What worked once should not make us egoistic. We must always seek Baba's guidance with humility. Another beautiful example is Ratanji Wadia of Nanded. Though he was wealthy and kind-hearted, he had no children. For many years, he prayed to God for a child. On the guidance of Dasgana Maharajji, he came to Shirdi and surrendered to Baba. Baba tested his faith and finally blessed him with children. This shows that Baba knows the sorrow hidden in the heart. When a devotee approaches him with faith and surrender, Baba blesses at the right time and in the right way. Baba also assured that even after his Mahasamadhi, he would continue to guide those who surrendered to him. Baba said, "Believe me, though I pass away, my bones in my tomb would be speaking, moving, and communicating with those who surrender themselves wholeheartedly to me." This is a powerful assurance. Baba did not leave us after Mahasamadhi. He is still living, guiding, protecting, and responding to those who surrender to him with faith. But complete surrender to the Guru is not easy. It is the highest form of devotion, bhakti. It requires purification, sadhana, faith, patience, humility, and above all, Guru's grace. A sincere devotee may still have doubts in the early stages. Sometimes we trust Baba and sometimes fear takes over. Sometimes we say we surrender but still try to control everything. Sometimes we pray to Baba but secretly want only our desire to be fulfilled. If our surrender has not fully matured, Baba does not abandon us. Baba is like a loving parent. When a child makes a mistake and later returns sincerely, the parent is always ready to help. Similarly, Baba gives us opportunities to learn, correct ourselves, and move forward. So, surrender requires honesty. We must ask ourselves, am I following Baba's teachings? Am I acting with truth and compassion? Am I doing my duty sincerely? Am I holding on to ego? Am I accepting Baba's will only when it matches my desire? Am I patient when Baba delays something for my good? This self-reflection is also part of surrender. Now another important question arises. How do we understand Baba's will today? During Baba's physical lifetime, some devotees could receive direct instructions from him. Today we must understand Baba's will through Dharma. Dharma is the guiding light. If our action is truthful, compassionate, responsible, humble and righteous, it is aligned with Baba's path. Whenever we are confused, we can ask, is this action truthful? Is it kind? Is it just? Is it free from selfishness? Is it aligned with Baba's teachings? Will it bring peace and purity to my heart? If the answer is yes, we should do our duty and leave the result to Baba. This is practical surrender. True surrender means accepting Baba as a doer, protector, guide, and final refuge. It means remembering that nothing truly belongs to us. Our body, mind, family, wealth, talents, opportunities, and even our breath are all given by Baba. When we live with this understanding, ego reduces, gratitude grows, fear decreases, and faith deepens. Then difficulties become spiritual lessons. Delays become Baba's protection. Losses become purification. Silence becomes guidance. Every moment becomes Baba's grace. In today's fast living world, surrender may feel difficult because our lives are filled with technology, pressure, speed, comparison, and distractions. But the solution is not to run away from the world. The solution is to practice seeing Baba in everything. We must see Baba in every person who helps us, every situation that teaches us, and every moment that shapes us. Baba is the true wire puller of this universe. We are only instruments in his hands. Surrender does not mean life will always be easy. It means we will never be alone. Baba may not remove the storm immediately, but he will give us the strength to cross it. He may not always give what we ask, but he will give what is truly needed. He may remain unseen, but is never absent. For a Sai devotee, surrender means living with this faith. Baba knows, protects, guides, provides, and Baba's will is always from my highest good. Let us practice surrender in daily life. When we are worried, let us say, Baba, I place this at your feet. When we are confused, let us say, Baba, guide me through dharma. When we are afraid, let us say, Baba, you are my protector. When things do not happen as expected, let us say, Baba, I trust your timing. When we succeed, let us say, Baba, this is your grace. When we fail, let us say, teach me and lift me again. This is how surrender becomes a living practice. Let us surrender to Baba not out of fear but out of love, not out of helplessness but out of trust, not by abandoning duty but by doing our duty with humility and offering the result to Baba. May Sri Sai Baba bless us with true Sharanagati. May he remove our ego, strengthen our faith, deepen our patience, guide every step of our lives, and finally grant us peace, grace, self-realization, and liberation at his lotus feet. Let us meet in the next episode with another divine topic from Sri Sai Baba's Divine Life. Om Sai Ram.